Good day, beautiful soul family, and welcome back to On Another Level. And just living my life. I was listening to a nice sermon from T.D. Jakes. I'll put it in the description box. And well, I've mentioned that I could show an oracle, right? And I could talk about the sky, and I could talk about a boat. But your intuition will call to something else. And it doesn't mean that the message that I am channeling is not important, but it's about meeting you where you stand. And so as I was listening to this wonderful message, being stuck in traffic, right? Divine Spirit was giving me a message about caterpillar going into the chrysalis. So there are many different times when, we hear about a caterpillar goes in a chrysalis, and there's so many different processes taking place, you know, a lot in between each stage. You see, the caterpillar has to go on a journey in order to get to that tree. It's all divine timing. Because truth be told, the caterpillar could have went to the next tree. Could have been inches away. And they're probably, that means that it wouldn't have been a struggle. But the caterpillar had to go on this journey, had to go through the struggles. Woo-wee! So check this out. The caterpillar has to go through the struggles because it's going to use that. It's going to use that grit, that determination for a later use. So it's inching along. It's got a lot of feet, and so it's just inching along, right? Now, the thing about it is that whew, it finally comes up to a tree, a certain tree. And as it goes on its journey, it's learning about its life. It's learning that the caterpillar is so much more inside, so much more beyond what the eyes can see. See, the caterpillar doesn't realize that it's going to be a butterfly, knows there's something special inside, but doesn't really see how beautiful it can take place. And sometimes, when Divine Spirit just told me that in the dissolving, it doesn't really know that it can be this beautiful butterfly. It just knows that there's something special inside. And so finally, it comes upon a tree as it's understanding that the caterpillar is special and it takes rest. You ever found out something beautiful about your life and you take rest? Find out something valuable and beautiful, self-love, self-care, self-nurture, and you're at rest. You see, at first I was a little stirred up because it's an hour long traffic, right? But I was able to hear a sermon, and then I was realizing, wait a second, instead of me being frustrated because I left early, Divine Spirit is telling me, instead of thinking about yourself, step out of that energy, raise your consciousness, and pray for whoever was in that accident. Some accidents, it takes 5, 10 minutes, 15, maybe 20 to clear up. But when it's an accident that causes an hour and a half delay, even when you finagle and take the local route and it's still a delay, that's when you pray. Not just pray for myself in the hopes of getting where I need to be, but to pray for those who were in that accident. Because divine's got me. Greater is divine spirit that is within me than that which is in the world. When I'm thinking about divine spirit is telling me about Job. When Job was complaining because of the strife that was taking place in his life. He said, gird yourself as a man. Where are you when all these different things are taking place? See, divine spirit is omnipresent. And we may get a little annoyed when certain things don't go our way, especially when we leave early, right? But this was a major accident. And in knowing the power that is within me, what I need to be praying for is not just that I get to where I need to be on time, but about utilizing that time to step outside myself and to intercede in prayer. So then I started praying, started asking for forgiveness. And then I started to pray. I prayed for healing. Now, what's interesting is that even before I got out of my apartment, I knew something was going to take place. My intuition was telling me, and I was like, Divine Spirit, clear the road, protect me in my travels. If anyone needs healing, please give them healing. Whatever needs to take place so that the traffic can move forward in a good flow, please let it take place. But I was praying, and it was like a nonchalant prayer. It was a selfish prayer. Divine Spirit, which greater is he that is within you than that of which is in the world, will quicken you, will remind you your purpose. Your purpose is not to worry. Sometimes your purpose is about interceding. And you don't have to be in midst to where you see what's going on. You can send out your energy of prayer from afar. And that's being in agreement with Divine Spirit. That no matter what takes place in your life that throws you out of whack, nothing should stop you from being your higher self. So as I began to pray, I started to feel better. I started to worry lesser and lesser about myself because there is someone in that accident who is struggling to live, who may be rushed to the hospital, who is focusing on that last breath. And when it comes to life, life is so much precious than me trying to get somewhere. It's so much more precious than me trying to get somewhere on time. Life is more valuable, and however I can utilize my power to bring forth healing, that's what we're to do. That was so interesting. So as I was listening to that sermon, and TD Jakes was talking about, being in the midst of a struggle, and I can totally relate. But one thing that triggered me was that there are times where, you will be hungry. And so Divine Spirit was talking to me about the caterpillar going into the chrysalis, having that covering, that chrysalis that's being formed. And, everything happens for a reason. Certain things that you want to go right and it doesn't go right, it was meant not to go right. To pick up certain wisdoms, to glean, to meditate upon it. And so the caterpillar is going to conflict. It's taking rest as it, in divine timing, goes to that certain tree. It's not just any old tree. Also, Divine Spirit is telling me that as the caterpillar is on its journey, It takes rest, and so many times there's so many opportunities in which the caterpillar takes rest, and so it's about divine timing. And I think that's truly remarkable. But it's a certain tree, and it's divine timing in which the chrysalis is then formed and the transformation is then taking place. And there is a struggle. There is a struggle that takes place. You ever had those struggles in your life where, you have to change mind frames in order to move forward? And well, anyways, the thing about it as Beautiful Soul Family is that the caterpillar is dissolved. And there are other things that is being dissolved. See, the transformation is not just within the body, but it's also within the mind. Based on how the mind is, the body will follow suit. Now, as a caterpillar is in the chrysalis, there is no eating, there's total isolation, there is a total breakdown to not ever be the same again, like a burning of bridges. But something great is taking place. And as is inching up the tree, the struggles and all of that the caterpillar goes through, it's helping. It helps the butterfly to utilize its strength to come out of the chrysalis. You see, there's more struggle. So then you're like, okay, I'm transforming, old self is dissolved. But there is this that mind frame. You're no longer thinking and acting as a caterpillar. You're being your higher self. Instead of being worried that you're going to be somewhere late, it's about saying, you know what? This traffic took place and an accident happened. How can I be my higher self and intercede to bring forth healing? How can I do it? How can I, in this time of regret, how can I step outside of self and pray for healing for somebody else? And that's what's called being your higher self. And so it's that mind frame. See, the caterpillar, no longer a caterpillar, right? It's a butterfly. And so the butterfly has got to start thinking about, how can I use these wings to fly? See, there is no help for the caterpillar to come out of the chrysalis. And that strength that's taken place. And so that it develops the strength in the arms of the butterfly. If it got help to come out of the chrysalis, then how would it truly fly? Right? Because even when in flight, the butterfly is alone. I don't really want to say alone, but it's on its own. There's no other butterfly helping the butterfly to fly. No, it's faith and trust. And the dissolving and the hungering that takes place while the caterpillar is in that transformation to a butterfly, a lot is taking place. So I went to a patch where it smelled like nothing but manure. And I was like, wow, stuck in traffic and I'm smelling nothing but manure. And I was like, well, you know what? I was like, Divine Spirit, great things come out of manure, right? The soil. Let me be a great thing that comes out of this manure, right? And then Divine Spirit was talking to me about menorah. So I was like, I know I heard of menorah before. So I'm in traffic, right? Stuck. But not really. And realized that menorah is a universal symbol of enlightenment. When you go through different struggles in your life, hallelujah, it's not about woe. There is a breakdown, but it's about enlightenment. Using that light that is within. Understanding who you are in all times. And choosing to be your higher self. Divine Spirit was telling me, what sets you aside from others is that, other people, they get upset. And they try to do simple things to try to move things along. Try to get their way. But you have choice. You were annoyed. And you could have complained. But you chose to be an interceder and pray for the healing for someone else. There are people that we won't ever meet. But that doesn't mean that we don't extend our prayers towards them. So, beautiful soul family, may this help you out as it helped me out. Helps bring forth enlightenment to me. May you have a beautiful and wonderful day. Namaste.